Story, the drama that's been unfolding out there on the Bundy Ranch out in Nevada. And word now of a no-fly zone that the FAA has put in place over the Bundy Ranch. Of course, this battle has going on between the federal government and Clive and Bundy and their family for grazing rights on their land, on public land and on their own land, going back 20 years. They've been doing this since 1887, allowing their cattle to roam on these ranges. And now the federal government showing up, seizing some of their cattle, putting a no-fly zone in place. First of all, what do you make of them putting a no-fly zone in place? Or what does it have to do with cattle?
Clearly, they don't want someone photographing what's going to be going on down there, whether it's the confiscation of cattle, whether it's maybe some actions toward these ranchers and their supporters. But, you know, the question just bubbles up to me. Why would we spend this kind of resources, these kind of resources, on somebody whose cows are eating grass that nobody else was eating, to the best of my knowledge? Why don't we spend that kind of resource on getting to the bottom of the IRS scandal, finding out why Brian Terry was murdered by people who had guns provided by the federal government? I can think of a lot of things that really matter to me as an American. The fact that some cows are eating some grass that apparently nobody else really wanted that much. If they feel like that there's something wrong, they ought to be paid, take it out of their taxes. But don't put snipers out around that could potentially escalate into something that will get way out of hand and remind us of David Koresh in Waco. This is really frightening stuff.
But they're sending a clear message, right, the BLM, the federal government. Obey or you will be punished. There is a principle as far as they're concerned that disobedience could, lessen their power in the long run.
But let's ask ourselves, when you say you're going to disobey the federal government, okay, even if, let's just say the federal government is right and the Bundys should be paying for the land, do you threaten to kill them? I mean, seriously, when you put sniper rifles, do you threaten to kill somebody over this?
Right.
That's the question.
And threaten to take away their livelihood, to take away their cattle, to take their livelihood. I mean, is this what's good for America? To come in and seize the very thing that they've been doing since 1887, the thing that has been able to provide food and money for their family over these years? The federal government has a right to just come in and grab that from you?
Well, and I think the question is it state land that they're on? If it is, then it's the state's issue. It's not the federal government's. If it's federal land, then the federal government may say, look, you can't just use the land without paying something for it. Maybe that's fair. But if that's to be settled somewhere other than with guns drawn.
At the point of a gun, exactly.
Absolutely. This is just frightening when the federal government believes that it can push citizens to a point where they will be willing to kill them in order to take care of some grass. I mean, let's just boil it down.
Right.
Is grass worth somebody's life? I don't think so.
Or is a turtle worth someone's life? I mean, at issue is this protected tortoise in these desert lands that has, government protection. There it is on your screen.
It's a threatened species.
When you see this and you contrast it to the Obama administration's coddling of people who break the law by coming into this country illegally, some of them commit real crimes, not just grazing crimes. What do you think of that, the contrast?
Well, I wish the Obama administration cared as much about unborn children as it does about turtles. I mean, if it did, we would see a very different approach to what we see in the abortion epidemic in this country. 55 million abortions since 1973. Regardless of what people think, I can't imagine that anybody can find a way to defend that many abortions in a country like ours. At the same time, we're protecting snail darters and tortoises and acting as if they're holy and must absolutely be protected at all costs. I find that, again, irrational.
I want to get your take on this. We'll switch gears now. The president